What's going on, fragrance family? It's your man Gator, better known as the novice knows out here in these fragrance streets. You know, just getting in from work today and just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the scent of the day today. I found like this is probably the best way for me to really start getting the reviews out to you guys, is just to kind of do it at the end of the day. It's not a whole lot of like production or, you know, editing and all that kind of stuff here, but you know, it's going to be always real opinions and real perspectives on the fragrances that I wear. And the fragrance that I wore today is one that I have been really itching to put some more wears on in my rotation, man. Worn it maybe 3 or 4 times and it wasn't the best ideal situations for the wear, but the last couple of times it has been nice and chilly outside, and I think this is where this fragrance shines. Now the fragrance we're talking about today is the new one from Zaharoff. Now this one is called Seraphim Musk. Let's see if I can get a good time in the bottle. I love this bottle, man. This bottle is gorgeous, man. I love the design of all the Zaharoff bottles, actually. All of them are fairly gorgeous, man, when you are really gorgeous, I should say, when you actually see them. Now, let me get into the note breakdown on this thing. So, top notes on this thing are pink pepper, cardamom, and bergamot. Middle notes are labdanum, love, pink freesia, cypriol, and mugain. And then the base notes here are going to be black musk, leather, ebony wood, which was the real reason I was super excited about this fragrance, and then vanilla. Like when you hear the name Seraphim Musk, a lot of people were like super excited about the thought of the musk. I was super excited about the thought of the ebony wood. Now, speaking to that, when people think the word musk, a lot of times they think of something that's going to be super clean and powdery and, you know, all that kind of stuff here, but on the extremes. And this is not that kind of musk here. It is going towards more the animalic range, which is why when I saw ebony wood in there, I was kind of like, ebony wood's kind of smoky, resinous, that kind of vibe here. Pairing that with musk is interesting because I also had that thought of musk in my head, being that like warm weather, clean kind of, you know, that kind of vibe. This is not that. And I think that's what threw a lot of people off initially when this fragrance kind of hit the community here. I think it dropped at a time like in the summer where the weather was hot. People were getting this fragrance in and being like, I can't wear this outside. It's a musk, but it's not going to be something that I can wear in the warm weather. I said when I got it, this is a fall fragrance, and I have definitely been proven right on that. Now, let me go ahead and get a little bit of a spray here. Decent atomizer. It doesn't, mine kind of goes straight line for some reason. Like it doesn't do like the fan out and all that kind of stuff here. And I've had other Zaharoffs, so they do fan. This one's got kind of a direct spray, and it could just be this particular atomizer. Not exactly sure, man, but it gets the job done. It gets the oil on my skin, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Now, this fragrance opens up beautifully. I love how this thing opens. So you're getting a definite cardamom influence here, and it's got a lot of warmth in the opening here. You get a good dosage of the pink pepper, but it's not like one of those pink peppers that adds in to give it like an effervescence. Just kind of adds to the spices, a little bit to the texture of the opening of the fragrance. There's a little bit of the citrus nature in here, and it talks about bergamot. I get that, but it's more in like the background. And in all honesty, sometimes I smell it, sometimes I don't. So it's not always like an uber prevalent note, and I guess it depends on what my nose is hitting for that day when it opens up. But the other part of the opening that I absolutely love is the influence of the labdanum. Now, you know, I'm a big labdanum fan, and this one definitely has that. Gives that opening married with that cardamom here. It just kind of balances so well, and it gives it this really warm, leathery kind of vibe here. Just a tad, little touch of a floral nature here going on here in that opening. It is gorgeous. I love the way, it's just such an inviting vibe here when you first spray this on, and going on into that like first 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes of this fragrance here, it's just almost like it just kind of envelops you. That labdanum here really is doing its job here off the opening. Like I said, in the opening here, you're getting that that labdanum like really playing a part in here, balancing so well with the cardamom and everything, warming this thing up, really making it inviting here. And then I also get a little bit of a touch of green here, kind of, you know, in there. It's just like just a faintness in the background that I haven't really placed just yet, but it soon is followed here by a definite amping up of the musk. Like I said, now this is going to be more of a black musk. It's not going to be a standard musk or white musk or anything like that. This is a black musk. It's going to add a little bit of an animalic nature to this thing. It's going to get really dark here. So it's not going to be something that's going to lighten up the fragrance. This is actually going to darken up the presence of the fragrance. Now, I will say that paired with the leathery nuance here, it really goes animalic here, and in such a rich way though. It's not like an animalic nature to where it's like, you know, barnyard type of animalic. No, what I mean by that is it gives it more of a dangerous dark kind of vibe as it kind of goes into the dry down here. That leatheriness going on along with that musk, it gives it a uniqueness. It gives it like a really beautiful skin presence here. Now, the thing that I really like about this, it gives you what I just said here for that first like hour and a half here. So you're getting that. You also start to get like a peeking in of my superstar, my MVP, the ebony wood. So the ebony wood starts to kind of jump into this thing, into the fray a little bit here. So along with that darkness, you're also getting a resonanceness, a woodiness that's going on there. And it's almost like a tad bit a resonanceness, but almost a church pewish kind of vibe. That sounds weird. Sounds kind of off-putting, but trust me, it's actually really gorgeous the way that it is done. It just comes across, like I said, such a warm fragrance. That's the thing I get about this fragrance. It's such a warm fragrance, man. And it's made more for like, to me, more of like an intimate kind of setting here. Now, to go along with that, man, going into that hour and a half or so, there's an element of this fragrance that peaks in that I absolutely love, and it's that vanilla. Now, it's not like a sweet vanilla. Like, I'm not getting like a sweetness from it, but what I'm getting from it is almost like a smoothing agent here. And it's almost like it kind of balances all of those dark elements here and just kind of really kind of flies baseline on that thing to make it even more warm and even more inviting. And as it kind of goes into the deeper dry down here, that is done so well in this fragrance, man. This is something that I feel is not only unique in the wearing experience, but I think that this is a fragrance that is going to be overlooked out there in the market. Now, why do I say that? It's because it's not going to be what people are going to consider like a super mass appealing kind of fragrance here. Great fragrance, stunner of a fragrance, but it's not going to be one of those like super heavy vanilla type fragrances that are out there that are really kind of, you know, people are just jumping on the bandwagon of. I think the fact that it's such a unique fragrance here is going to kind of, you know, jack it of its flowers a little bit, to be honest, but it definitely deserves flowers. This thing is amazing here. As far as the wearing experience goes, I get somewhere in that range of about, you know, I was getting somewhere in the range of like 8 hours, 9 hours as far as wearing. Now, this is not like a monster projector though. This one comes across maybe, I would say maybe an arm's length here of projection for that first hour or so. Kind of shrinks in to being about a 2-foot scent bubble here as you get into like that 3rd, 4th hour here. But sillage actually goes on for a good little while with this fragrance here. I was getting the sillage on it up until the very last moments that I could smell it on skin. Now, when you put this on clothes, it's gonna be on there. It's just gonna stay on clothes until you wash them. And so it definitely has that kind of vibe to this though. Now, as far as the wearing experience itself goes, now this one I've had a couple of unique wearing experiences with. I actually wore this to an event here with my wife recently, actually, and I think I've shared this story before with some of you guys. But we were out there wearing an event. She was doing something, and I was actually helping out one of her other sorors, and one of her sorors came up to me, and she's like, "Oh, it smells like a man. It smells good. This smells nice. And then she told me, you smell like somebody that needs to be, you smell like a man that needs to be telling me what to do. And my wife kind of came in at the end of that phrase. Needless to say, I can't wear this fragrance without my wife being around. And she's not the biggest like labdanum fan. Anything that smells like oud or labdanum or leather, she always says it smells like Band-Aids. So she's not the biggest fan of those types of fragrances. She's not the biggest fan of this fragrance. But I can tell you what she is not a fan of even more, people that's jumping up on me because they love the way that this thing bounces off skin. This is going to be a very masculine, very powerful style of fragrance. This is going to be one that's like man's man, bad boy kind of vibes going on with this thing here. That leathery nuance in here, that balance of that black musk in here with a little bit of a vanillic touch at the bottom. Man, this is going to turn heads, man. It has already turned heads for me. I've got quite a few compliments on it in the wearing experience on here. Now, this is not going to be a fragrance that you wear in warm weather though. This is definitely not a summer fragrance, which I think is what put a lot of people off with this one because it was released in the summer. This is more going to be a fall and winter fragrance. I don't even know if you really get away with it in the spring that much, maybe in the early spring. But I will say this, 2.5 seasons ain't bad, and this one definitely can get you 2.5 seasons. Overall, I really dig the wearing experience on this. Looking forward to wearing this a little bit more in the fall, man. This is actually a vibe, man, and I'm digging it a lot. And, you know, I know it gets like a bad rap for some reason online, and I think it's because the expectations of people thinking it was going to be this super uber clean musk. But this is a great fall scent. So out of season, but don't let that be the reason that you miss out on this. This one's great. That's all I got on this fragrance, guys. If you put your nose on this thing yet, let me know in the comments. And as always, guys, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, share this video with somebody you know that loves fragrances, guys. And of course, as we always say, no matter what you're doing, however you're doing it, make sure you make today the best day ever on purpose. Peace out.